Welcome to the NDTV Education Conclave. This discussion is on the future of professional education for a new India. As India continues to evolve as a global hub for education and innovation, it's crucial to examine the role of professional education in shaping the next generation of leaders and workforce. It's a pleasure to have you both with us. Thank you so much for joining us on the NDTV Education Conclave. I would like to begin with you, Ratul, to start with, I think when we're talking about the current state of education in India, what do you think, where do we stand in terms of global standards? Where do our students stand? And what can we offer more to the Indian students so that, they feel they're in the same place or the same field as their counterparts studying in MIT or doing research in Stanford?
It's an unfair comparison to start with because they are miles and miles and miles ahead of us. And the basic reason why they are ahead is because they understood the importance of research at a very, very early stage. And if you see all the innovations that have hit the world have come primarily from the defense sector, and all those researches have happened in the university ecosystem. Where in India, those ecosystems have not really been developed to that extent. That's one. Secondly, in the West, the MITs, Harvards, you'll see, you go to any university town, you'll see a good amount of ecosystem, wherein the industry is very close by to the academic area. And as a reciprocal measure, the university is developing courses and skill and, imparting skills to manage to supply to that demand. So that ecosystem, that symbiotic ecosystem is available there, which we need to be able to create here. That is one. Second, in India, there is a huge disparity between the metros, the tier 1 and the tier 2 cities. So that's another piece which over a period in time is getting, managed to a large extent because of internet connectivity, the digital transformation that's there. So yes, the gap is there, but digital transformation, that is the way ahead.
Yeah.
Second is how fast and better we can integrate the industry into the academics. Right, that is what is going to be the game changer. So the concept of industry-embedded educational institutions is what is required for India to really, really grow fast.
What steps would you ensure or would you suggest that not only your university, that India should be taking to stay ahead of the curve, whether it's in terms of just curriculum, so and also about the collaboration, what Mr. Ratul just spoke about?
I'll say that, yes, we have been changing, and NEP 2020 was launched, and it has taken care of a lot of aspects of this, what you are asking, in a sense that, yes, we need to have integrate learning by doing things, which is the ethos of MITs and other places. So that has been there. Interdisciplinary education, outcome-based education, and not only that, also multidisciplinary education is one of the kind of the focus of the NEP, which actually universities, all the universities are trying to do. And Industry Connect also has been happening. I mean to say that UGC has vouched for, in fact, urging for professor practice in the universities, where the industry problems will come to the classrooms and faculty members will be associated with that. And classroom projects leading to the capstone project, which is there in all developed countries, also is in practice in many universities, also in our university. As far as the research is concerned, there is a focus that undergraduate students should participate in the research scenario, and it should connect to the scholars as well as the faculty. The undergraduate students should peep into the domain of research, and then creativity should reflect, which are reflecting, and there is an ecosystem of entrepreneurship also happening in the universities.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, of course, when you're working on those skills.
Working on those.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this particular session, we'll be talking about AI. And this is something very exciting. AI is not just the buzzword at this moment. AI, in fact, is the reality. And this is something that has been reiterated again and again by many of the panelists here. In fact, AI is revolutionizing education. But the big question is, what does the future hold when it comes to AI? Before I come to the guests, raise your hands if you use AI to write your assignments. Very few show of hands. I'll rephrase this. Raise your hands if you use AI to take help to finish your assignment. Now we have a lot of hands. All right, Professor B. Ravindran, my first question to you is, when it comes to AI, how excited are you about AI, especially in education, and how it is changing education system at this moment?
AI is really revolutionizing education at this point, right? In fact, at a recent event, I thought I was making a controversial remark, but a lot of people agreed with me on this. I'm saying that education, as we know it, right, is over. We still haven't caught on to it, but I think not only is it going to change the way we teach and change the way the students learn, but AI is also going to change what we are going to teach. So we really have to take a hard look at how we are going to design our curriculum and so on and so forth. I'm both as a teacher and as somebody who has been working in AI for the last 30 years, I'm really excited at this current state of affairs we have. Right? So a lot of things to work through as a community, as a teaching community, and also as a AI research community to figure out how AI can be shaped in a way that we are still ensuring that our students are learning the right skills.
I like to ask Dr. Datta, when it comes to human connect, how do you think human connection is crucial in education, and how can teachers, educators, they can maintain this connection in AI-infused learning environments, especially in schools?
The human connect, especially at the school level, is very, very important because the impact, the influence of the teacher is only when it's one-to-one interaction. It is not so much through the artificial intelligence. The online teaching, as we experienced it in the COVID, didn't work as much as the offline does. So the, mentorship, the guidance can be given only when it is one-to-one and minus AI and even technology to a larger extent, I would say. But while I say all this, I don't mean to negate altogether the benefits of AI. AI is here to stay, and there are a lot of benefits, and these children should be taught how to put them into the best use. When you talk about the human touch and the human aspect of it, the critical thinking, the creative thinking, problem solving, the decision making is better done minus the AI. This I very strongly feel. AI is what? It is not a mind of its own. It is what the human beings have fed it. That's what generative, pre-trained intelligence is there in Chat GPT. It is pre-trained by the human being. So thinking on the ground, decision making, let's talk about it, can be better when it is played by ear. You think about what you have to do right there on the spot. I always draw analogies. Analogies, again, can be better brought by a human being.
Yeah. This is a question specifically for Professor Hasnan. How do you think AI has impacted writing and research in education, and what strategies can be employed to foster critical thinking and creativity in students, sir?
If I can go back and quote the godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, and he rightly says, artificial intelligence could soon spell the downfall of human society. Don't get alarmed up with this. We are already seeing some effects. It may not be downfall of human society, but we are seeing some effects. Let's look at first of our education system. You know, what kind of education system we are in today? From young age, the students are conditioned to follow instructions, chase marks, and get good and memorize rather than challenges. We often measure success by looking at the scores, the technical skills, or algorithmic precision. What we are forgetting is a very major thing, and that is to train the mind to question, interpret, and create. Now, this is what is lacking today. According to Bill Gates, AI will become so advanced that humans will no longer be needed for most of the things. We will not need human beings. In a landscape where machines can already beat us by calculations, pattern recognition, and even creative mimicry, what will humans do? Critical reasoning, ethical judgment, these are not just soft skills, but these are skills that humans can do and humans will continue to do.
Can AI be used to enhance critical thinking or creativity? Or do you think it will stifle these skills? Because a lot of people have this to say that, look, the more AI gets smarter, you get non-smarter, I would say. No, this is for the filing, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wouldn't agree to that. And let me start by saying I represent an initiative by the Government of India called the Atal Tinkering Labs. Some of you would have heard about it, but these were created back in 2016 with the intention that learning and education has to be more experiential, more project-based, and focus on 21st century skills. What are those? Creativity, problem solving, design thinking, computational thinking, communication, collaboration. Those are the skills of the 21st century. Why were we saying that? Imagining and understanding that technologies like AI would actually replace a lot of the skills that were being taught in schools back then. And hence, National Education Policy 2020 also created a platform for transforming education, emphasizing more on these skills of creativity, of curiosity, problem solving. And why AI will not actually damage that but enable that is for this very same reason, that a lot of things which are mundane and repetitive in nature will be taken care of by AI, and it will in fact enable that. For instance, students now in an Atal Tinkering Lab, I'll just give an example of Atal Tinkering Lab where the focus is on understanding local problems, identification of problems, using design thinking principles and 21st century skills to create innovative solutions. Now for that, the first step of design thinking or any such problem solving is research. Understanding data, understanding and analyzing data. A lot of that gets covered through AI now. And what it frees up a student's time for is actually thinking of creative solutions to those same problems. AI is enabling all of that.
The dream of studying abroad remains a cherished aspiration for many Indian students and their parents. In fact, until last year, we saw a remarkable 50% increase in students seeking to study abroad with long queues outside visa offices, a testament to their fervor. While the current scenario may have tempered enthusiasm, the desire to pursue international education remains strong. Our guests here will explore the motivations, benefits, and challenges of studying abroad and what the future holds for Indian students seeking global opportunities. It's really a pleasure to have you all here today with us on NDTV Education Panel. I would like to begin with you, Dr. Kumar. In your book, Kathiyar to Kennedy, The Road Less Traveled, you share your remarkable journey, from Kathiyar to Harvard. Now, as someone who has navigated the complexities of international education, what advice would you like to give, students here or Indian students who are aspiring to study at top universities abroad? And also, how can they make the most of these opportunities?
Regarding my journey, to be honest, when I came to Delhi as a student from Bihar, a small town in Bihar, I'm a first generation learner.
Yes.
I had never heard about Harvard University, to be honest. Until I was a student at JNU, I was doing my MPhil and PhD. So when I was working with a women's organization called SEVA, I got an opportunity to go to do a small diploma program in the Netherlands. And until then, I was a student of JNU. So I witnessed a stark difference between our university and the ISS at Hague. And the classroom there was so vibrant, and the professionalism of the faculty and the library. So it really worked for me as an appetizer. And that is when I decided that I have to come back to one of the Western countries to study further. While I was working with SEVA, I was writing recommendation for many interns and the students who were interning with us. I realized that after my recommendation, when a lot of students are getting, scholarships or admission abroad, I should also try and, study. So at the age of late 30s, I decided to study again. And by then, I thought that, now at this age, if I am applying to go somewhere, I should go to the best place. So I only applied at Harvard.
And you got in?
And I got in, and also with 100% scholarship.
Wow.
Going abroad and studying from a good university, gives you a lot of exposure. Harvard and the Harvard community is like second family to me.
I would like to ask you here, we have been talking about, we've just heard Dr. Kumar's journey. Akshay, if you could tell us, the data shows a significant surge in Indian students opting for higher education abroad with a remarkable 50% year-over-year increase. Now, what do you think is driving this trend? What do you think is the biggest lure for Indian students? Is it the access to cutting-edge research and technology? Is it the state-of-art labs, the repetition of top universities, the opportunity to develop critical thinking and interdisciplinary skills, or the promise of global exposure? What's your take on that, Akshay?
I don't essentially think of it as abroad versus India or overseas versus local. I think of it from the perspective of a student should really pursue something that they have passion for. As long as you're able to figure out what you want to do in life and to kind of quote our dear friend Rancho from Three Idiots, right? Like as long as you're doing something which you really love, you will be able to find success at it. So I think as long as people are able to identify what they want to do, and then figure out whether they need to be in India, whether they need to be in, say for AI purposes, they need to be rather looking eastwards. Does it make sense for them to be in Singapore or Hong Kong or say somewhere in China? Or does it kind of really make sense for them to be in India for some specific program where India is doing really well, for example, manufacturing? We should put that as the core fundamental principle. Hey, what do I really want to do? What if I pursue this will kind of lead to this path, and then figure out, okay, what are the best universities to pursue this program? What are the best towns in the world which will have respect for this program so that I can succeed once I pursue this program? And as long as you can essentially build a very straight, structured line on that journey for yourself, I think that's when you're able to truly measure the ROI, be it short or long term, and then essentially say that, okay, studying abroad worked for me.
Vishal, I want to come to you here. Many foreign universities are opening campuses in India, talking about the University of Southampton, Delhi campus, if I can ask you about that. Are you seeing the same traction and interest in international education here as well, compared to what it is globally? And what opportunities as well as challenges are you facing in terms of access?
I think it's an opportunity for University of Southampton. In fact, it's an opportunity for a lot of the campuses that have recently announced their entry into India. Obviously, if we look at it from a perspective of a country that is India, there's a wide requirement, in a way, if I could call it that. If you look at what the objectives for the new education policy is, if you look at what we intend to do, we want to move up from a gross enrollment ratio perspective. We want to move up in terms of ensuring that people who are supposed to be in undergraduate education are in undergraduate education. So automatically that also means that it will require the coexistence of a lot of different kinds of higher education ecosystems, right? At the end of the day, what is an international university of a certain stature? What are they intending to do? They're intending to bring in, extend a lot of the globally relevant curriculum, which in a sense is a combination of depth in terms of their domain knowledge, as well as a clear development of transferable skills. This is obviously an opportunity for both sides. At this moment of time, to be a truly global university, you have to be able to ensure that you're part of the Indian growth story, right? And that's essentially what this is all about. With respect to challenges, we haven't necessarily, faced any challenges per se, right? What you have to remember here is that there's obviously something wherein, the Ministry of Education, whether it's the Ministry of External Affairs, a lot of them are looking at, bringing in universities into the country. So that also means that they will be bringing their own systems, they will be bringing their thought processes, they will be bringing their, the kind of faculty that teach over there. They'll be bringing their centers of excellence. They'll be bringing their, thought and research impact.
Yeah.
And I think that all adds a lot of value to the vibrant and dynamic ecosystem that India is.
Do you think that the financial burden of studying abroad is justified by the potential returns? Like, do you think one gets a better job prospect as well as higher salaries? What's your take on that?
Somehow, whenever we are talking about investment, we are only talking about investment in study abroad in terms of monetary investment. We are absolutely missing out on the time, effort also, and the distance that is going. And the entire measure of the return is only through a job. What is very important is, I think we are talking about higher education here. The education and the experience and exposure, which translates into experience and education that stays with the child forever. So one thing is, it's very incorrect to judge the return only in terms of on a monetary scale.
Sure.
Second, what I would say is that education in India is again on a rising trend, right? The costs is not very, very different. And talking about things, that is where there are multiple funding options that have come in, right? Many higher education, they offer scholarships, there are education loans that are available. And that is what it makes things more easily accessible, right? So that's one thing I would say.